Good morning and welcome to the National Briefing. My name is Kelly Nash. Let's see what mainstream media is talking about today. Top story, new revelation from Admiral who oversaw alleged drug boat strikes. Now, inside the story, the sub-headline, Democrat says this is one of the most troubling things I've ever seen. This sounds very damning, and yet if you actually scratched it just a little bit, you would see that what the Admiral said is there was no kill order. It's just a complete non-story. This is a typical mission, and that the people who were, quote-unquote, people just clinging to life before Pete Hegseth said, murder them. It turns out they were actually still engaged with other drug cartel members and were trying to save the mission. Oh, that really changes everything. Okay. Well, they're going to continue to go with that. Maybe you want to talk about Letitia James. That's another one. Wow. Donald Trump got smacked in the face yesterday. Letitia James, the grand jury declines to re-indict her. Is that over? No, it's not over. Not even close to being over. Well, I'm sure we'll keep you up to that. But yesterday, I think it was like mid-morning-ish, we got some news that it didn't quite go the way the mainstream media thought it was going to go. Let's have Jake Tapper from CNN break the news.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. After nearly 5 years of investigation, the FBI finally announced that they had arrested a suspect accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburb.
What? Wait, a white man? What did you just say, a white man?
A 30-year-old white man.
You did say a 30-year-old white man, and yet every photograph I've ever seen of this guy, he's pretty black to me. Well, all right, Jake, you know what? Let's go ahead. You said you want to make a correction? Let's give the mic back to Jake Tapper for his correction.
The suspect in this pipe bomb case is a male, not a female, as Glenn Beck's far-right outlet, The Blaze, published in a report last month. The Blaze claimed that, quote, a forensic analysis of a female former U.S. Capitol police officer's gait is a 94 to 98% match to the unique stride of the long-sought January 6 pipe bomb suspect, confirmed by several intelligence sources, unquote. The Blaze appears, at least based on today's actions, to have gotten that really wrong. The FBI says the suspect is Brian Cole Jr., not the woman that the Blaze mentioned.
I mean, the irony of this guy, Jake Tapper. Come on. Jake, or some people call him Fake Tapper. Jake, you don't want to correct the fact that you called this guy a white guy? You don't want to correct that? I mean, they're running a photograph, like on your show, of a obvious black dude. Okay, but you want to go ahead and take shots at the Blaze because they're quote-unquote far right. By the way, did you discredit their claim that it was a 94 to 98% match on the gate? Oh, it actually still stands. They were just speculating because that person was in the area, and they even told you that they didn't know. They were just speculating that because this person was in that area at that time and had that walk. But you know what? Look, I never talked about it on the radio. I literally have done probably 100+ more hours on the radio since that news was reported. Never brought it up because it wasn't confirmed. Nothing was confirmed. What is confirmed is Brian Cole Jr. is very black. What is confirmed, according to NBC News, Jake, is that Brian Cole Jr. has Antifa ties. What is confirmed is that on January 6, 2021, the guy who was in charge of all of this, a guy named Christopher Wray at the FBI, came out with a narrative very quickly that Antifa was not involved in any way with any of this. All of January 6 is all perpetrated by far-right MAGA extremists. That's the narrative. That's what Christopher Wray told us, his thorough investigation. He's backed on that by another fella named Merrick Garland. Now, that entire wing of history, that chapter of history was all about making sure that MAGA is seen as the people who took over the Capitol. Since then, well, I should say even back then, many people looked at the videos and said it looks as if the cops are in on it. It looks as if the police are holding they're just bringing the velvet ropes wide open and saying, come on in, y'all, take a tour if you want. And many people got caught in a trap. That's what it looked like to a lot of us. You wanted to call us conspiracy theorists at the time. Since then, we've now found out that there was literally dozens of FBI agents intermingled in the crowd. You want to tell us that they were, even though they were plain clothes, many of them photographed in like MAGA gear, you want to tell us that that's just our wild imaginations. Well, now we got Brian Cole Jr., Antifa enthusiast, put it that way, who has been arrested 10 months into the Trump administration. And according to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, the people who took over for Christopher Wray, not one new tip has been received. No new intelligence has been received. They went and looked at the 4.5-year-old files and found this information. And then they worked it, and in 10 months, they solved it. Could Christopher Wray have done that? Better question, did Christopher Wray do that? Did Christopher Wray and the FBI actually solve the crime back in 2021 and realize, oh, crap, this is an Antifa thing. This is going to make our whole January 6th narrative look like a stinking pile of poo. Okay, I don't know. I'm speculating. Now I'm speculating. I'm obviously speculating. I'm not giving you a fact there. I'm giving you an idea. I'm saying that narrative actually makes sense. That if they wanted the narrative to be Donald Trump can never come near office again because Donald Trump led an insurrection and it was his followers who did it and they're discredited. Nobody wants to be associated with MAGA because that's now known as the far right-wing extremists who took over the Capitol. And then we find out that, oh my gosh, it was left-wingers? It was left-wingers. That would be bad. Well, this information is now presented to all the Democrats yesterday. And I'm only going to play you one. This is Mark Warner, senator from Virginia. But his response is, I would say, almost the one that they probably typed up in the press office at More Socialism Now and said, this is what you should all say. And listen to Mark Warner try to explain it away.
It kind of makes me, looking at this crowd, doing a victory lap when all the senior FBI officials across all key divisions have been fired for political purposes, when in some field offices up to 45% of the FBI officers who were doing things like counter-espionage and cyber have been assigned to do immigration cases. It's a little rich that they're saying they're American safer. How much earlier could we have caught this guy if resources hadn't been diverted?
Are you freaking kidding me? This is literally the best that MS-13 could come up with. That's the best. That we would have caught him sooner had we not diverted assets. Had we not laid off certain FBI agents. You had 4 years and you didn't solve a flippin' thing with the Democrats. Donald Trump and the Trump administration. Now, again, I am now just assigning, what I believe has happened here. They came in and realized that the Bureau had been corrupted. They removed the people that they felt like were doing the corrupting. They then assigned their people to take a fresh look at it. And within 10 months, they have an arrest. The reason people were diverted, or in a lot of instances fired, was they were the problem, Mark. They're the ones in the way. They're the ones stopping the progress. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I feel like I need to maybe take a job at MS-13 to try to help them write better press releases for their Democrats because they look like buffoons. You've got Mark Warner, a guy who's been a senator forever, a guy who is a literal, well, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's a multi-millionaire. This guy is worth a ton of dough, must be sort of intelligent, I would assume, and he's out here looking like a clown because he's following Democrat talking points. The Democrats really need, do better. Do better, Democrats. Do better. Let's celebrate the fact that we caught this guy, Brian Cole Jr. Let's celebrate the fact that we've got the FBI has apparently been cleaned up. Let's celebrate the fact that America is safer today. Let's celebrate the fact that America is getting healthy. Let's celebrate the fact that America is getting great again.